Thank you so much for making the journey all the way here.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
And both of you have such an impressive filmography, you know, being in movies directed by Rizuke Yamaguchi and Sano. How was it like working with Igarashi? And was there anything unique or different about his direction?
6年かけて、僕らが2人、五十嵐康平監督と仕事をしたいっていうことで初めてご連絡させていただいて、ようやく実現したので、もう本当に嬉しかったですね。演出方法に関しては、もうほとんど何にも、こう、ディレクションすることなく、動きだけの演出だったんで、それは面白いなって思いました。
It was 6 years before we filmed this that we reached out to director Igarashi saying that we wanted to work with him. And so it was a really great dream come true to be working with him. And what was interesting about his directing style is that he didn't really direct us per se. It was really all about the movement within the scene.
そして他の監督と少し違うのが、よく日本だと、役名と名前を言われて、初めに、開始するときに紹介されるんですよ。何々役の何々さん、よろしくお願いします、みたいな感じで言われるんですけど、五十嵐さんはそんなことがなくて、すべて日常の延長で、撮影が進められるので、なので、何のスタートもなくて、ただカメラが置かれて、で、僕らがそこに立って、用意スタート。それだけで全てが始まっていくっていうのが面白かったです。
And what was really interesting about his directing style is that normally, you know, directors, when they introduce an actor, they say, this is such and such playing the role of such and such. But in his case, we just went on set and it was like an ordinary day. Nothing was different from just real life. We just went about our business. The camera was there and we would step into the scene and he would say, okay, begin. And that was it.
That's great. Yamamoto Nairu, who plays Nagi, seems to be a bit of an unconventional actress, which is really refreshing to see. How was it like acting opposite such a captivating character?
本当に彼女は台本のセリフにとらわれることなく自由にその場で生きていたので、やっていて本当に楽しかったですし、巻いていく全然違うシーンが出来上がっていくのが本当に楽しかったです。
She wasn't bound at all by what was written in the script, it felt like. And so every take was a totally different thing. And there was kind of an exciting nature because every time it was different.
で、彼女は、5年後のシーンを読まずにやってくださいっていうことを五十嵐監督に言われてたので、5年前のシーンだけ、彼女は台本を読んで演じてるので、本当に僕らはその5年前の時、その彼女と一緒に演技をただしていたっていう感じがすごく面白かったですね。
It was really interesting because she was only given the part of the script that was 5 years ago. That's all that she was really focusing on. And so when we were acting with her, it really felt like we were in a world that was 5 years ago. So that was a really interesting experience.
So was there a lot of improv on set?
でも基本的には台本通りだよね。台本通りで、そのシーンの終わり側というか、脚本に書かれてないところだったり、シーンの前の書かれてないところは、割とアドリブでつないだところがありますね。
It was mostly according to script, but everything that was things that happened before the scene started or after were kind of added, I would say, in improv form.
3人でご飯食べるところが後半にあると思うんですけど、そこは少しアドリブを足したりとか。
当日に、宮田くんが熱海の出来上がった話
そうですね。
のもう追加で3、4行長いやつを渡されて、それはこういう内容を言います。あとは自由にやってください。で、お尻の方も楽しい雰囲気で続けてくださいみたいなのは言われました。
So in the scene where the three of them are eating together and he's talking about how the town of Atami came to be and he's talking about the hot springs and all of that, that was written and those maybe 3 lines or so was what was written, and then they told us just to kind of continue having a conversation and just have a good time. So everything that happened after that was basically improv.
That's amazing. Speaking of Atami, the film is set in such a classic Japanese tourist place. How was it like spending time in such a beautiful town and shooting on location?
1ヶ月間ぐらい撮影期間があったんですけど、その泊まってた宿、ホテルに温泉がついてたので、毎日温泉に入ってました。最高でした。
We were shooting for about a month. We stayed there for about a month, and the hotel we stayed at had a hot spring or like a onsen attached. So we got in there every day. It was fantastic.
温泉に入るとね、本当に体が安らぐんですよ。だからみんなスタッフもみんな役者もやっぱり体がね、元気な状態で次の撮影に挑めるから本当に温泉最高です。
It's really amazing because, you know, your body relaxes so much and all this, you know, crew and everybody was doing the same. They were all taking baths every day. So everybody was able to recuperate before the next day's shoot. So it was really great for all of us.
I think that's probably all of our dream vacations. So while the film was shot in Japan, post-production was done in France. And director Igarashi said that was because he was looking for an aesthetic that was more international and open. And he cited Tony Scott's Deja Vu and Robert Bresson's A Gentle Woman as inspirations. Were there any films, Japanese or international, that you look to as a reference in your performances?
僕らはやっぱりアフターサンがすごく印象的にはあったかなと思いますね。
After Sun was a really left an impression on us.
作品でインスピレーションをっていうのは僕はなかったんですけど、それこそアフターサンのポール・メスカルっていう俳優が、結構、ガタイが良かったんですよね。で、それがすごく、ガタイがいい人間の素質っていうのが、なんか見ててすごい、物悲しくなるというか、だったので、これはなんかこう、自分の役にも、なんかこう、使えるなって思ったので、とにかくすごいトレーニングをしてました。実はあんな華奢に見えて、意外にトレーニングしたんです、あれで。
For me, it wasn't necessarily, I didn't have like a particular film that really was a big inspiration to me, but After Sun was somewhat, and Paul Mescal, I think, who's really built in that film. I sort of felt this like contrast of his sadness and a lot of things going on, and I thought, oh, this might be something I can use for this film. And so even though I look really skinny in this film, I worked out a lot and I was pretty built for this as well.
We can definitely see the similarities in the film and you. So your real names are used in the film's characters. Were there anything else from your personal experiences that ended up in your performance with the film?
僕で言うと、もともと救急の看護師をずっとしていて、それがまあ10年ぐらいやっていて、あとボクシングをやっていて、それがすごく多分物語に反映されているのと、あとは僕が運命が少し好きっていうことがすごいね、反映されてると思います。
I actually was an emergency room nurse for like 10 years, and I'm also a boxer, and so that was directly in the film. And also the sense of believing in destiny, I think, is also something in myself that is reflected in the film.
僕は、この作品は、その、五十嵐さんと監督と宮田くんの3人で6年間、こう、脚本ゼロから制作していたので、僕の何かっていうのを多分五十嵐さん監督自身が勝手にこう、パーソナルな部分を取っていって、出来上がったものなので、なんか僕の中にある何かが反映されてるなって僕自身は思わないんですけど、ナギと出会った時の、こう、なんていうんだろう、敬語とタメ口っていう、まあ日本の文化なんですけど、それをこう使い分けて、ナギと接近している感じはなんか、似たようなところあるっていうか、なんか。
あとはあれじゃない、歩き方が変っていうのを監督に言われてて、それが特徴的で、すごいこの物語に反映されてるみたいなこと。
Director Igarashi and the two of us had been working on this script together for 6 years essentially, and sort of putting this together. So I think without me knowing it, he took aspects of me and put it in the film. So I don't directly feel that very much in the film myself. But the way he speaks, the language that he uses, which is kind of a combination of keigo, which is very polite Japanese, and sort of tamego, which is like very casual language you would use with someone your same age. when he approaches her is something that I think is similar to how that happens with me. And then he also mentioned that the director Igarashi also says that he walks weird, and so so he looks weird when he walks, and so he thinks that that's also in the film.
So did you had input in the writing process as well?
そうですね。それこそカップラーメンのシーンとかは、僕だっけ宮田君だっけが、もう本当ギリギリの段階で、カップラーメンをああいう感じで食べるっていう文化が日本にはあるんですよ。実はクラブの後だったり、こういいなって思う人と、こう夜コンビニの前で食うみたいなのがあって、まあもちろん人によるんですけど、それとかは確か僕らのアイデアで脚本に入りました。
The ramen scene was something that I think I suggested. And that's kind of a cultural thing. Like in Japan, you go clubbing or something like that, and you eat a instant ramen outside of the convenience store with someone you like. And so that was something that I wanted to include there.
That's great. So the story is split in two halves between the past and the present. Was there anything in your characterizations that you use in the performances to sort of distinguish the two and signify the passage of time?
僕は特に、5年前、5年後を意識することはなくて、なぜかというと、普段も多分そんな5年前のことをね、5年前として演じることはないと思うんですけど、そういう感じで、まあそこにただいて、そこで撮影しているっていうことを意識してはいて、ただ、今ちょっとつけて見えてると思うんですけど、この指輪だけを意識して、つけてるか、これをしてるかしてないかで、全てを決めていました。
I don't really think about like, oh, it's 5 years ago, so it should be different or anything like that. And I don't generally, I think in the films that I act in, I was just there and being myself. And however, I did think very much about like whether I'm wearing this ring or not. And that would determine everything for me.
僕もそんなになんかお芝居自体を変えるみたいなことはなかったんですけど、やっぱそのナギが亡くなっている状況の時は、その監督の方から動きに関してはすごい、ディレクションをされました。すごく遅くなってほしい。彼はもう不眠症で寝れない、かなり疲れている状態の人間っていうのはもっと歩き方だったり何かをするモーションがすごく遅いから、とにかくそれをやってほしいっていうのは言われました。
I didn't particularly change my acting style, but after Nagi died, in the present day part, the director told me to walk really slowly because, and really, he just really talked to me a lot about how I move, and that was really about showing kind of the insomnia nature that he's going through in his movement.
So I think we can open it up for some audience questions. You can raise your hand if you have a question. Anybody? Yes. So the question is about whether the film was shot chronologically or not.
本当は順序に撮影したかったんですけど、まあ予算だったりね、いろいろロケ地の問題がありまして、もう本当交互に撮っていきましたね。バラバラです。
We wanted to do that, but because of budget and because of locations, we were jumping back and forth a lot.
So Bobby Darin's Beyond the Sea, sort of the theme song of the film. Other than the obvious lyrical similarities, why was that song chosen?
そうですね。まあ歌詞の内容もそうなんですけど、曲調がすごく明るいんですよ。でも、言っていることはちょっとなんかもう物悲しいというか、感じのその明るい、でも悲しい話っていうのが、今回の映画のテーマにぴったりっていうのと、この、Beyond the Sea っていう曲自体が、もともと、シャンソンの、誰だっけあの人。ボビー・ダーリンじゃないんですよ、もともと、一番最初は。で、その人が、まず、発表したものがすごいヒットして、で、また国だったり、時代が変わって、ボビー・ダーリンがカバーしてヒットしてみたいな。 で、ディズニーの、作品にも使われて、また場所と時代が変わってヒットしてみたいな、なんかその感じも、また、この映画のテーマに合ってるっていうことでね、そう、これが採用されました。
So the lyrics do definitely match, like you're saying, and tonally it's a very happy song, but the lyrics are also kind of sad. And so that really, we felt fit the film and the theme of the film. And originally it was chanson. It wasn't Bobby, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his last name, who sang the song. And so then it became a hit again when the Bobby version came out. And then later it was it was used by Disney. And so it kind of has these cycles, which we thought also matched the film.
The question is about whether anybody gets to keep the red cap.
No.
どこかの国に行ってるかもしれないですね。
It might be in some foreign land.
ただ、あれに、オマージュした、グッズが日本にあるので、もしよかったら買ってください。
But there's some merch in Japan that kind of is paying homage to this. So please check them out.
Well, at least it'll exist in this film and in our dreams. I think that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you all so much for coming, and please give it up once more for Mr.
ありがとう
Sano
ございま
and
し
Miyata.
ありがとうございま
た。
した。Thank you so much.